Welcome to Daily Gossip. You will get daily Hollywood updates here. Remember to subscribe for the latest videos. Today's story is both fascinating and heartfelt. We're diving deep into the life of Alexander Clooney, the beloved son of George Clooney and Amal Clooney. Once the adorable toddler who charmed the world just by being seen in rare paparazzi photos, Alexander has now grown into a boy who's caught public attention, not just for his looks, but for what some call a surprising transformation. But beneath all the speculation and viral headlines lies a powerful story about parenting, privacy, and the cost of fame. George Clooney has long been considered one of Hollywood's most dashing and charismatic leading men, with a career that spans decades and a public persona that combines charm, activism, and class. George has never been far from the spotlight, but when he married Amal Alamuddin, a brilliant international human rights lawyer, their union became more than just another Hollywood love story. It became a powerful merging of star power and intellect, beauty and advocacy. When Amal and George welcomed twins, Alexander and Ella, in June 2017, the world watched with wonder. Yet from the beginning, the couple made it clear their children would not be raised under the harsh lights of celebrity culture. While many famous parents sell photos to magazines or share moments online, the Clooneys chose a path of privacy and protection, refusing to show their children's faces on social media and asking the press to respect their boundaries. Still, the rare glimpses we get of Alexander have always sparked intrigue. As a toddler, he was described as adorable, mischievous, and full of energy. Amal once revealed that he loved to tell jokes in both English and Italian, and George himself gushed about Alexander's intelligence and sense of humor. The media swooned over the cuteness of the twins and painted a picture of a fairy tale family. But now that Alexander is getting older, those few public sightings have sparked a flurry of discussion online. Some tabloids and clickbait headlines have described him as unrecognizable, wild, or even weird, terms that not only exaggerate, but deeply misrepresent the Clooney family's journey. In truth, Alexander is a growing boy, just like any other, developing his own personality, style, and identity. But because he is a Clooney, every photo, every detail, every tiny change is analyzed to an extreme degree. What many people don't realize is how deeply personal this experience is for George and Amal. In 2021, George wrote a powerful open letter urging media outlets not to publish pictures of his kids. He revealed the real reason behind his fierce protection. Amal's work puts their family at risk. As a lawyer who represents victims of terrorism and war crimes, Amal has enemies, and George is terrified that pictures of his children could endanger them. So when people say Alexander looks insane now, they're not just being disrespectful. They're ignoring the real story. Alexander's rare appearances are not about celebrity. They are about family, survival, and the right to grow up safely. We've seen photos where Alexander appears animated, expressive, or even a bit rebellious. But what child doesn't go through those phases? What's sad is that every wrinkle of his nose or wild gesture becomes an internet talking point, with some calling it odd or unusual. But George and Amal have been here before. George has seen what fame can do. He knows how Hollywood can twist a moment, a photo, a quote. And that's why he's so guarded now. Alexander, by all accounts, is thriving. He attends an elite international school, speaks multiple languages, and is surrounded by a loving, intellectually rich environment. Sources close to the family say he has a passion for space, storytelling, and imaginative play. One insider even noted that he's already developing a filmmaker's eye, setting up pretend cameras, and giving his sister directions like a tiny director on set. But for the world watching, what they see is filtered through long lenses, clickbait headlines, and social media exaggerations. One paparazzi photo, where he wore mismatched socks and a bold hoodie, became an entire article about George Clooney's son's bizarre fashion choices. This is the tragedy of celebrity parenting. While most children are allowed to experiment, fail, or just look messy without consequence, kids like Alexander are put under a microscope. George Clooney once joked that parenthood made him feel younger and older at the same time. He's open about how fatherhood has transformed him, from a man who once said he'd never marry or have kids to one who now treasures bedtime stories and school pickups. Amal, too, has scaled back some of her public appearances, choosing to spend more time with her family. Together, they've built a fortress of love and values, a home where the world's opinions don't define their children. And maybe that's why this story is so important. It's not about how Alexander looks or how he's changed. It's about what it means to grow up as the child of icons. It's about challenging the culture that turns children into trends, and about reminding everyone that even the most famous kids deserve to be kids. The emotional weight of this story is in the intention behind George and Amal's parenting. They're not just raising a family, they're making a statement. That fame is not a right to invade privacy. That success does not equal exposure. And that behind every shocking headline about Alexander Clooney is a real boy with real feelings, a real future, and two parents fighting to protect it. So the next time you see a wild headline about George Clooney's son looking insane, remember this: he is not a meme. He is not a curiosity. He is a child navigating life under circumstances most of us will never understand. And if he appears a little wild, a little bold, a little different, maybe that's not a problem. Maybe that's just a sign that he's growing up just like every other kid, only with the whole world watching. Thank you for joining us on this emotional journey. If you found this story touching, revealing, or thought-provoking, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Daily Gossip. We're here every day to bring you the deeper stories behind the headlines, the heart behind the fame.